The air was thick with smoke and tension, the ground trembling beneath the rumbling of distant artillery fire. The faint echoes of cries for help pierced the chaotic din, underscoring a palpable sense of despair enveloping the village of Carantan in Normandy during the fateful summer of 1944. Lieutenant Tom Sullivan could feel the weight of his rifle as he crouched behind a crumbling stone wall, heart racing, the acrid scent of gunpowder burning in his nostrils. Barely 25, he had already seen countless horrors of war, each one leaving a mark on his soul, but this was different. This was D-Day, and the stakes had never felt higher. Tom glanced at his comrades, the young men who had journeyed with him from the grassy fields of Iowa to the bloody beaches of France. They were brothers in arms, bound not just by duty but by the kind of friendship that could only forge itself in the crucible of combat. Private Joe Richards, a gangly but quick-witted lad, was reloading his M1 Garand with hands shaking from adrenaline. He caught Tom's eye, offering a nervous smile before the reality hit them both like a slap. They were part of a much larger conflict, and so far the Allied forces were fighting tooth and nail for every inch of ground. The Battle of Carantan had become emblematic of the brutal struggle against the German forces, a microcosm of the broader operation to liberate Europe from Nazi control. With the successful landings at Omaha and Utah beaches, the Allies needed to secure the vital town of Carantan to facilitate further advances and consolidate their grip on the Carantan Peninsula. Failure meant suffering for both the soldiers and the civilians caught in the crossfire. Left unchecked, the Germans would have their way and could threaten the entire Allied operation. Just as Tom steadied his breath, a loud explosion rocked the ground, sending vivid splashes of dirt and stone into the air. It was a German artillery shell, exploding close enough to send a shiver through his bones. In that split second, everything around him faded, and time seemed to stretch. The vividness of camaraderie, fear, and the echo of his loved ones back home pooled together in his mind. Memories danced at the edges of his consciousness, the smell of his mother's apple pie, his father's encouraging words about honor and duty, the laughter shared with friends under limitless sun-dappled skies. "Lieutenant," a voice broke through his reverie, pulling him back to the moment. It was Sergeant Callahan, a stalwart figure whose resolute demeanor was a beacon for the younger men. "We need to move. The Germans are regrouping on the far side of the square. They're setting up a machine gun nest. If we don't take it out, we won't stand a chance. On your feet, boys," Tom barked, taking command, the urgency flooding his voice. "We're moving out." They bolted from their refuge, sprinting across the exposed ground, dodging bullets that whizzed past with the unnerving whistle of death. Tom led the charge, instinctively aiming down the sights as he rounded a corner, heart pounding in tune with the rhythm of combat. Around them, the cacophony of war spiraled into a terrifying symphony. Gunfire crackled, engines roared, and further explosions wrought havoc upon the idyllic countryside, shattering lives and dreams alike. They reached the edge of the town square. A place that had once brimmed with life now lay battered and scarred. Vibrant flowers turned to thorny remnants under the crushing boot of war. Tom's breath came fast as he caught sight of the enemy position, a crumbling post enveloped in gun smoke and shadows, its twin barrels spewing steel like hell's own breath. "Cover me," he shouted to Joe, who instantly understood his intent. Aiming carefully, Tom charged forward, adrenaline heightening his already acute senses. With each running step, time elongated. He was acutely aware of the breeze upon his skin and the poignant fear binding his stomach in knots. Behind him, Joe provided cover fire, the crack of his weapon echoing as he aimed at the ominous mass of the machine gun. But the enemy was wise, return fire erupting around Tom's feet like angry hornets stinging the earth. He ducked, narrowly avoiding a hail of bullets, feeling their near miss singe his hair. "Faster, Sullivan. They won't wait forever." Callahan's voice carried, urging him on. In a burst of raw will, Tom propelled himself, armed with a grenade, past the broken remnants of a shattered storefront and into the open expanse that would decide their fates. Heart hammering, he pulled the pin, flinging the grenade toward the source of the German fire, not caring for the precision as he fell to take cover, holding his breath. Just as the explosive detonated with a deafening roar, echoing against the deserted walls, a gust of heat swept over him, choking him with primal fear and exhilaration. He peered around the corner of the wall, the sight before him a morbid spectacle. A plume of smoke blossomed violently, and the enemies were quickly replaced with the pandemonium of panic. It was a chance, a flicker of fortune. He had to take it. "Sullivan, you're clear. Move in," The sergeant rallied the men forward, and Tom nodded, scrambling on hands and knees toward the nest, where a few remaining stragglers shot wildly, their leadership crumbling beneath the loss of their vantage point. Fueled by adrenaline, Tom pushed ahead, feeling a surge of hope igniting within him. He burst into the clearing, rifle leveled, surveying the tragic aftermath of his assault. One enemy soldier remained, a young man barely older than Tom, wild-eyed, trembling with fear and desperation. In that split second they locked eyes, an electric moment of shared humanity amidst chaos. The soldier raised his weapon, fear contorted in his features. In an instant, Tom made a choice he would live with forever. He had been raised on tales of honor and valor, where a bullet was a means to an end. But there behind the grime, he saw a mirror of his own life fading in that young German's eyes. Tom hesitated, his world collapsing into the weight of decision. Then, heart pounding, he lowered his aim. "Don't shoot," he called out, his voice steadier than he felt. "I don't want to kill you. Surrender." Almost as if fate had taken a breath, the soldier blinked, confusion seeping through his fear. The cacophony of war dimmed for a heartbeat, stretching a thread of connection around their shared humanity underlined by the solemn weight of their choices. "Get down," Callahan's voice boomed, snapping Tom back to reality just as rounds whizzed dangerously close. The German soldier was caught off balance, glancing around for an escape, eyes wide as shot echoed through the empty space. With a guttural shout, he lunged for the safety of a nearby building. In a flash, Tom swung around. Desperate, he hadn't the heart to pull the trigger, yet they were at war with lives lost on both sides as the carnage mounted. "Hold fire, Lieutenant." Callahan's roar reverberated against the unforgiving stone, the order anchoring them in the storm's eye. With a quick decision, Tom steadied his rifle to the right and fired, striking the dirt just shy of the soldier's position. The young man halted, fear reflected in his eyes. He turned back, scanning under the covering of steel-laden skies before collapsing to the ground, surrendering his fight. "Put your hands up, now," Callahan barked, and as the soldier complied, Tom clenched his jaw, breath hitching in his throat as he witnessed both their fates entwining. A mix of emotions cascaded within him, triumph mingling with the bitter taste of sorrow. They had triumphed in that moment, but it felt hollow. War had exacted its toll. It painted choices in shades of gray, making heroes of men forced into agonizing decisions for the sake of survival. As the dust settled over Carantan, the echoes of combat began to fade, leaving behind a chilling silence that enveloped the shattered town. They had secured the village, yet the cost was steep. Tom felt drained, the weight of what they had witnessed crushing beneath a thin veneer of triumph. He longed for the sanctuary of home, yet the faces of those they had lost haunted him like specters flickering in the darkest corners of his heart. "Lieutenant." Tom turned to find Callahan again, but there was a different urgency in his eyes. "We've got wounded. Get the medic." Sprinting to their fallen comrades, Tom's heart clutched tight, bracing for the devastation that awaited. Each soldier lying on the ground was a vivid reminder of war's brutality. They had faced the onslaught bravely, but the toll was clear. Bodies wrapped in tarps, lifeless eyes staring into eternity, painted a stark picture that words could never capture. Men full of potential, love and dreams broken under the weight of conflict. He knelt beside Private Richards, the boy who had stood with him, always ready with wit. Joe lay silent, eyes forever closed. Guilt gnawed at Tom's insides, and he gripped the young man's hand, heart heavy with regret for not being able to save him from the fate they had all been so terribly entangled in. "No, no, no, Joe," he whispered, tears springing unbidden from his eyes. The camaraderie they had forged was woven with bonds far beyond mere recognition. Joe was family, and in an instant that light was extinguished. But pain wasn't the only thing left lingering in the aftermath of that solemn day. All around them, shattered lives echoed like ghosts among the ruins, their stories entwining like threads in the tapestry of time. The villagers who had watched too gazed from doorways, eyes wide with fear and apprehension, never truly sure of whom to trust. They were left to pick up the pieces of their lives in the wake of violence, the specter of war trailing behind them as a relentless shadow. In the weeks that followed, Carantan slowly rebuilt, both physically and emotionally. For the souls who remained, remnants of love and legacy flickered in the hearts of those who had lost so much. Tom, immersed in the chaos of military life, understood that the burden of war extended far beyond the battlefield. It marked the lives of the survivors like a scar that would never truly heal, weaving threads that bound the living back to remembrance for those who had given their all.
Tom would carry Joe's memory forward, sharing tales of a brave young soldier who faced the raging storm with courage and laughter. And in the quiet moments, he would return to that fateful day, where amid the terror of war, he had glimpsed a flicker of human connection that transcended the ravages of conflict. Time marched unrelentingly forward. The war would ultimately end, yet the scars would remain, unforgettable stamps of lessons learned. As the echoes of Carantan became a chilling whisper in the annals of history, Tom understood that by holding on to memories, he could humbly honor the sacrifices made. Their story would not end with defeat. It aimed to rise from the ashes, woven into a community reborn, a testament of resilience and fortitude that could bridge the chasm between despair and hope. Memories, like flickering flames in the dark, would be passed down from one generation to the next, an indelible reminder of the cost of peace. And under the pale sky turning to dusk, Tom found solace in the realization that they had not fought in vain. Each footfall on the path ahead was a step toward healing, proving that amid war's chaos, humanity still shimmered like stars breaking through the clouds, a gentle reminder that even in the darkest times, light could prevail.